Chitra Ramayana, the Ramayana story told through pictures. Uttaram yat samudrasya himadreschaiva dakshinam varsham tad bharatam nama bharati yatra santadihi. The country that lies north of the ocean and south of the snowy mountains is called Bharatam. There dwell the descendants of Bharata. Long ago, more than 5,000 years before, in Bharatvarsh, there were many kingdoms, big and small. The place was rich with wisdom, wealth and culture. That period was called the Golden Period for the people who lived during that time. Kings were treated as God's incarnations. There was a kingdom called Kosala, the capital of which was Ayodhya. It was ruled by the Ikshwaku clan in those days. Let us go to the time when the virtuous Dasharatha was the king of Kosala and ruled from the city of Ayodhya. Even after many years and multiple marriages, he could not have children with any of his 3 wives. The fear of the absence of descendants to inherit the kingdom was looming large. And then, as per the advice of the Rajguru, the royal mentor, and the other rishis, King Dasharatha decided to conduct a major Vedic ritual called Putra Kameshti Yaga to beget children. During the Vedic ritual, a divine entity emerged from the ritual fire along with a vessel full of blessed sweet pudding to be consumed by the 3 wives as blessings. As time went by, care, celebrations, and divine rituals proceeded to protect the queens and their pregnancy. And then one day, at an auspicious time, when all the celestial entities aligned to the most favorable position, Vishnu, the god, took avatar to be born as Ram to Kausalya. Immediately after that, Sumitra gave birth to twin sons and another boy was born to Kaikeyi. The wheel of time turned incessantly as it should be, and the children grew up to become young, energetic and handsome boys, Rama, Lakshman, Shatrughna and Bharat. They grew to become young warriors, especially Kausalya's son Rama and Sumitra's son Lakshman. The king turned sage Vishwamitra took the 2 boys to his hermitage to protect the sacrificial rituals from evils that were impending all around. The sage knew that the princess turned demoness Tadaka can only be annihilated and then liberated from her curse by the incarnation of Vishnu. Ram was the perfect candidate and the timing was perfect. The master said, "Evil shall be destroyed." And Ram shot his shining arrow piercing the chest of demon Tadaka to liberate her from the curse as it was destined ages ago. The children faced many such situations and came out victorious. The all-knowing sage Vishwamitra took Ram to a place where Ram accidentally touched a rock that transformed into a beautiful damsel. She was Ahalya, who was cursed by her husband, who was a sage, for her wrong behavior and cheating on him. Her redemption was destined by Vishnu setting his foot on that piece of land. The time that cannot stand still moved on and on. Ram and Lakshman traveled from one place to the other along with their mentor, sage Vishwamitra. The children were growing to become extremely handsome, courageous, strong and skillful warriors. And it was time for them to get married. It is said in the scriptures that everything is destined and nothing is coincidence. Sage Vishwamitra took Ram and Lakshman to a kingdom where a divine bow, which was called Shiva Dhanush, the bow of Shiva, was waiting for them. The bow is said to be so heavy and strong that one mortal alone cannot lift it. Only an extremely strong and divine person could even raise it and tie the string. The king had announced that his daughter Sita would be married to the person who can lift the bow and tie it. And the bow was waiting for Ram. Needless to say, Ram not only lifted the bow but broke it as well, the sound of which was believed to have reverberated across the three worlds. The thunders subsided to auspicious notes from the instruments that celebrated the marriage of Ram to Sita. Blessings from all the worlds showered on the couple Sita Ram, and there were loud cheers and chants of Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Siya Ram. The wild and strong, reverberating sound of the breaking of the Shiva Dhanush invited the wrath of ever-angry Parshuram, who was on the spree of killing many generations of Kshatriyas, the warriors. And as it was destined, the two incarnations of Vishnu met on this world, and Ram managed to subside the anger in Parshuram, which had been raging for centuries. Ram, through his pious talk and charisma, put a stop to Parshuram's anger and carnage that he was bent upon. Sage Vishwamitra, on getting a message from King Dasharatha, returned with Ram and Lakshman to Ayodhya, only to face a very sad situation. Queen Kaikeyi, who got convinced by her evil maid Manthara, decided to ask the two boons given to her by King Dasharatha during a battle in which the king's chariot and his life was saved by her timely action. Kaikeyi demanded King Dasharatha to honor the two boons promised by him to her immediately. 1. Her son Bharat to be crowned the king. 2. Ram should spend 14 years in the forest denouncing the kingdom. The devastated king, who had no other way, had to honor his words. Ram, the ever-loving and obedient son of Dasharatha, without any hesitation, accepted the sad pleading by his father to leave immediately. Ram left for the forest, and his virtuous, newly married wife Sita joined him. Ram's ever-strong companion Lakshman also left along with Ram and Sita, leaving his wife Urmila in the palace. They left the palace carrying nothing except their will, ascetic dress made of tree skins and accessories for rituals, to spend the next 14 years in forest. After travelling on his chariot till the banks of river Ganga, the charioteer Sumantra is advised to go back to serve the king. A beautiful and strong boat was arranged for the trio to cross the magnificent Ganga. Guha, the boatman, rows the boat to the other bank of the mighty river Ganga. Time stood still at Ayodhya while it was moving for the rest of the universe. Ayodhya's mood was that of an orphaned child after Ram left for Vanvas. Bharat, who is coronated as the king, runs after Ram and pleads to go back to Ayodhya. Ram refuses lovingly, and as requested by Bharat, he gives away his paduka, the footwear, to be worshipped by keeping it on the throne. Days, months, and years passed. The trio faced many tough times and survived all those. All through the Vanvas, there were many instances that were destined to happen, and many lives were saved and blessed by Ram. Then one day, while they were staying in Chitrakoot in the deep forest, Ram was lured away to get a golden deer as per Sita's wish. Though Lakshman was asked to protect Sita, the illusionary deer Maricha ensured that Lakshman also left the hut, leaving Sita alone as planned by the demon king Ravana. The king Ravan came there as a sage asking for alms, and Sita was made to get out of the Lakshman Rekha that was drawn for her safety. In a moment, Sage transformed to the original form, the ferocious King Ravan and kidnapped Sita on his flying machine Pushpaka Viman. This action by Ravan was to set the score for the insult thrown on his sister Shurpanakha by Lakshman. In mid-air, during the flight to Lanka, King Ravan's kingdom, Jatayu, the huge eagle, who is a great devotee of Ram, tried to rescue Sita from Ravan by attacking them. Unfortunately, Ravan was too strong and powerful, and Jatayu was too old and weak. Ravan severed one wing of Jatayu, and he fell far down on a mountain. Jatayu lived only till he could give the message of Sita's abduction to Ram. Ram got deeply disheartened to see Jatayu with a single wing lying on the mountain bleeding profusely. And he realized that Jatayu happens to be a good friend of his father, King Dasaratha. Ram is much overwhelmed by grief, as by a surging sense of affection and gratitude, and embraces Jatayu. And Jatayu managed to tell what he wanted to and attained salvation with the blessings of Ram. From that moment, Ram and Lakshman's life moves on searching for Sita. They traveled mountains and forests in search of her. Ram was aware about an impending divine task in the ashram of sage Matanga, and therefore they both entered the hermitage. Shabari, who belonged to a hunter family but never harmed a being or even consumed one, was waiting for Ram as instructed by sage Matanga. Shabari had gathered wild fruits for Ram. She offered them to him with great devotion. She took a bite first before offering them to Ram. This was to choose the best ones for the king. Her intense and innocent devotion pleased Ram, and he granted her liberation before leaving the place. Ram finally meets Hanuman to remain the best friend and associate for the rest of Ram's life. Of course, Hanuman, being an immortal, outlived Ram. Hanuman seeks the help of Ram to kill Bali, the twin brother of Sugriva. He carries both Ram and Lakshman on his shoulders to the mountain where Sugriva was hiding from his twin brother Bali, who was creating havoc in the monkey kingdom Kishkindha. Sugriva needed to be saved from Bali. Kishkindha needed to be saved from the atrocities of Bali. Sugriva entered into a pact with Ram to search for Sita together if Ram helped him to kill Bali and save Kishkindha. Thus, Bali was killed by Ram and Sugriva was coronated as the king of Kishkindha. This too was destined, and Bali attained moksha as he was killed by none other than Vishnu himself. Ram and Sugriva, supported by Lakshman and the entire monkey army, made plans to search for Sita in Lanka. Hanuman, who was reminded of his true power, offered to go first to the island Lanka and ensure that Sita is indeed there and tell her that she will be rescued soon. Hanuman, harnessed with his powerful mace, after praying to his father Wind, jumped towards the south from the tip of land that is Bharatvarsha, across the sea to the island of Lanka, ruled by the 10-headed demon King Ravan. However, Hanuman was in for a surprise. A huge water snake jumped out of the sea suddenly with mouth wide open to swallow Hanuman. This was Surasa, the mother of all water snakes. She said, "Welcome to be my delicious food today." They had a long discourse of valor and weaknesses, and Surasa told Hanuman that she cannot allow him to cross the sea. She ordered him to surrender and enter her mouth. When no other trick worked, Hanuman increased his size manifold. Suresa also opened her mouth as big as Hanuman gets. Then suddenly Hanuman transformed to a miniature, entered her mouth, flew through the entire length of her body and came out before Suresa could even close her huge mouth. Thus Hanuman won, and Suresa told him that she was testing his mettle for the impending task at Lanka. She blessed him and allowed him to go ahead. After traveling miles over the mighty ocean, Hanuman reached the grand kingdom Lanka and started searching for his lord's consort, Sita. He searched the entire palace but couldn't find her. Then he decided to search the garden around the palace. His search didn't create even a flutter in the island kingdom and no one could notice him. At last, he found Sita sitting under an Ashoka tree in King Ravan's garden, Ashokavan. He was amazed to see many armed demonesses guarding the beautiful and pristine Sita, who is sitting in deep sadness remembering her beloved Ram. He waited on the tree to guard demonesses to go to sleep. Then he slowly climbed down without making a sound and stood in front of Sita with folded hands. He was amazed at the divine beauty still obvious on her tired face and body. Having found Sita, he identified himself as the messenger sent by her own husband, Lord Ram. In order to convince her that it was indeed Ram who sent him, he showed the ring Ram had given him to show to Sita. Excited, Sita asked him about Ram and Lakshman's well-being. She gave her ring to Hanuman as a proof of Hanuman meeting her and asked Hanuman to tell Ram to come, defeat Ravan and take her back. Hanuman was extremely happy, and before leaving Lanka, he created havoc and burnt down the whole garden and many spires of the Golden Kingdom to mark his presence and to challenge Ravan. After listening everything from Hanuman, Ram ordered for the preparations to cross the mighty sea that had many dangerous beings. Faced with the dilemma of how to cross the mighty ocean to Lanka, Ram performs a penance to Varuna, the Lord of Oceans, for 3 days and 3 nights. Seeing Varuna not responding and thinking that it was his arrogance, Ram angrily begins attacking the oceans with celestial weapons. The ocean started getting heated up and very rough, killing its entire flora and fauna underwater. Just as Ram invokes Brahmastra, considered to be the most powerful weapon capable of destroying all creations, Varuna arises out of the oceans. He bows to Ram, begging him not to destroy the oceans with this missile. Instead, he suggests Ram to redirect the weapon at a demonic race that lives in the heart of the ocean. Ram's arrows destroys the demons and establishes a purer, liberated underwater environment. Varuna promises Ram that he would keep the oceans still for all of Ram's army to pass, and Nala constructs a bridge across to Lanka. The entire army of monkeys got together and built a bridge with rocks. The Lord of the Ocean, Varuna, helped the bridge to be as strong and stable as possible. The entire army crossed the ocean and reached the shores of Lanka and camped there. The ritual of announcing the war, if Sita is not returned peacefully, was carried out. Eventually, the war started. The following days witnessed a war unparalleled in the history till then. Both sides used the most dangerous weapons available to them. Ravan always had an antidote to every missile sent by Ram, and as fate would have it, Ravan exhausted all his defense. The war didn't last much long. Ravan was defeated and killed by Ram. The dark days of Lanka was finally over, and the pure and highly spiritual era started by conducting the coronation of Vibhishana as the king of Lanka. It was time to go back to Ayodhya. After several days of travel, they reached Ayodhya to a rousing welcome by his brothers and the citizens of the entire kingdom. There was no bound to the happiness of the people of Ayodhya. Thus, the Ram Rajya was established where everyone got justice. Though Sita was as pure as a dewdrop, questions were raised by some of the elements about Sita's chastity, as she had spent many days with Ravan in his kingdom. Sita even had to perform the ritualistic fire test to prove her purity. As his people in the kingdom were not yet convinced, Ram had no other way but to desert Sita. He had to be an example, and he, with great difficulty, left Sita in the middle of the forest. Years passed. The kingdom prospered to become the most powerful and undefeatable kingdom in Bharatvarsh. The Rajguru advised Ram to perform Ashwamedha Yaga, a ritual to ensure that there are none in the Bharatvarsh who could defeat Ram. Hanuman followed the horse which was set loose. Anyone who wants to challenge Ram is supposed to confiscate the horse and challenge for a battle for its release. Suddenly, in the middle of a forest, two young boys appeared and held the horse. Hanuman was amused to see these two young boys, barely entering into their teens, challenging for a fight. Though he tried to find out who these boys were and dissuade them to get into this, the boys were adamant and insisted for a fight. The news reached Ayodhya, and warriors were sent to fight the boys. The boys defeated everyone, including the commander. Hearing this, Ram asked Hanuman to bring them to him. On reaching the palace, they insisted to meet Ram, and they realized that he indeed was their father. They could recognize him just from the description given by Sita and the great sage Valmiki. Valmiki had narrated entire story of Ram to the boys, Lava and Kush, who were the sons of Lord Ram himself, who were born in the forest at Valmiki's hermitage. Since then, Sita brought them up and trained them to be great warriors like their father. Ram was amused to meet these two young boys and somehow connected with them and asked them who they were. They narrated the entire story of their father in front of Ram as heard from Valmiki. Listening to the story after he left Sita in the forest, his memories gushed back and he felt extremely guilty. He suddenly prepared to go and meet Sita. But it was too late. Sita had already invoked her mother to take her back, as her duty was over when she gave back the children back to their father and to where they belonged. The Mother Earth appeared, lovingly took back Sita to herself. The all-knowing Ram witnessed the entire happening with moist eyes. He then returned to Ayodhya and continued as the king of Ram Raj till he was destined to be on this earth.